Is it true that Aaron Action RPG Wifey is better at playing Ellie than Aaron? I think I think she probably plays it less frequently, so she probably has more fun at it. And really, what's the point of playing any game? Is to have fun. So if you're having more fun, you're better at it. So yes, therefore, I think she's probably better at it.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video, we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 137. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community and gave us 2 Cycle 2 teasers. And for anyone that follows Dev Chat Bingo this Friday, we play it every single Friday. I am happy to report we did have a bingo. Very, very nice job. Okay, let's jump into our first question, where Mike is going to walk us through new Masteries.
Are there any plans on adding new classes at some point? Oh yeah, definitely. I would say, so we do plan on adding in new master classes, and we do plan on adding in new base classes too. New base classes will be, that's quite a far ways off. The new mastery classes will be significantly before new base classes. We still don't have like a fixed date on any new classes yet. I do know likely what the next, I would say, 2 new mastery classes will be. I bet I could call the first 2 mastery classes with pretty high confidence.
I am telling you right now, one of those 2 is Barbarian. Now let's talk about the new evade mechanic, and Mike gives us a little teaser here. Listen to this.
Will it? Oh yeah, into that. With the evade mechanic coming in 1.1, can we see any unique items to buff it? Yeah, there are items in 1.1 that do interact with the evade mechanic. So there's I don't want to get into too much details about them, but like some of them are pretty transformative. If you really don't want to use the evade mechanic, there's items that will help you not use the evade mechanic and still get value out of that system. So yeah, there's a good mix of stuff coming in there, but yeah, there's a couple unique items and things to interact with it. I can't really go into too much detail yet with them because those are still very much in flux.
I'll stop you right there, Mike. Did you catch that? If you don't want to use the evade mechanic, there is going to be items where you're still going to benefit. Give up evade for more power. Generic loot filter.
Be a generic loot filter per class in game that anyone can use without having to edit it. We don't have pre-made filters ready to go right now. I still really want to provide a better way for players to like share the holy grail of loot filters in my world is very akin to what you'd see on like a modding website, where there's like anyone can just like post up their own filters, and people can search and sort and filter and browse, and like there's like a thumbs up, thumbs down review style system where people can be like, I'm using this one and it's great, and probably not thumbs down, probably just thumbs up, like endorsements. And so yeah, that type of system built right into this filter thing. Like the filter I'm using is so nothing right now.
Nice, Mike.
But like having some like browser that you could pop up and be like, I'm like pick your class or pick 3 skills that you're using, and people would have filters that are listed like, oh, this is good for these skills type thing, or like it's the general type of build you're playing. I think that'd be a really positive thing. That's something that I'd relate to see.
Torchlight has the default loot filter right now that a lot of people like. I use it. Good idea. I like this next question, and no, I did not ask it.
Will you go hot and cold Sweating next Wednesday. Oh, yes. Yes. Next Wednesday, so a week today, plus about 3 hours, I will be joining Frosty and Aaron on their new podcast. I think I'm the first official guest, which is pretty cool. For that, guys, looking forward to it. Man, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. I was told to expect some jokes, keeping it light, so we'll see what happens.
If you guys did not see my announcement video, I will link it at the end of this stream, but I'm so happy, so excited. Action RPG and Frosty LaRue, we are starting a brand new podcast titled Town Portal, and it'll be on my Twitch channel, Aaron Action RPG, and our first guest is going to be Mike, and it's going to be entertaining, hopefully some comedy in there, learn about Last Epoch, you know, between two ferns, but really between two portals. Teaser 1.
The new Circle of Fortune rank 10 reward thing. What you get at rank 10 of COF. Simple, to the point, straightforward, easy.
Will this push people off MG to COF? Boss loot upgrade. Bosses have 150% increased drop rate for any specific rewards they have, which basically means if you are targeting a certain item that is a boss drop only, COF, way to go. Spicy cosmetics.
Are you open to adding funny cosmetics like a spacesuit or sexy stuff, or will the game always stay on serious levels? I don't like funny. Serious is generally not the axis that we tend to look at there. More of a like in universe does it make sense? So like spacesuit and sexy stuff, probably not. That's the sort of stuff that we are we're intentionally avoiding. But you know, like having stuff be a little bit of a joke, I think that's the sort of stuff we're open to. You know, I think having things that are like maybe poking fun at Last Epoch itself. Maybe there was like some bug that happened.
LE61
and having a cosmetic that goes along with that bug or something like that. But still like makes sense in universe, I think is the important part for us. So like we're still because there's no astronauts in Etera, we don't want to have a spacesuit, you know. That sort of stuff. So yeah, we're steering away from that type of stuff, but at the same time, like I think there's room for like comedy MTX that makes sense still in the world.
They have said for a really long time that kind of the Lost Ark version of MTX, it's not coming to Ellie. The new Pinnacle boss versus Julra Tier 4.
Right. How much more difficult is the new boss compared to Julra T4? I don't know yet. It is not locked in place yet. It's still something that we are fine tuning. The balance of that boss is a really important thing to get. Right now, I would say it is very noticeable, especially in like how much health it has. So it will take a while to chunk it down.
Teaser 2.
Boom. All right, this is a node in, I believe it's the Disintegrate tree. Yeah, it is. If you start channeling Disintegrate while having at least one stack of I don't know how to pronounce this. Lucomancer? It starts at tier 2. If you also have the amplification node and at least 2 stacks of Lucomancer, Disintegrate starts at tier 3 instead. There's some cool terms in there. I wonder what they all do.
Disintegrate. It's gonna be good. Idol crafting.
Is idol crafting in the works, or is it down the road? It's down the road. We have not set in stone what idol crafting is going to look like yet. At some point, there will very likely be some way to affect the stats on your idols in some form or another. My personal favorite for that right now is as a dungeon reward. Possibly as a series of dungeon rewards, or like dungeon with multiple entrances that can do different things based on which one you go to, or you know, I don't know how it would look, but I would personally really like to see it in the game, and I think the best way to add it is as a dungeon reward. But maybe not. Maybe there's some other mechanic that comes in as like a cycle mechanic, and as part of that cycle, you can craft idols with some mechanic that comes in. I don't know. We haven't got that far with it.
They have talked about dungeon reward for manipulating idols in the past. They've also said that maybe set modifications would be a dungeon reward. All right, everyone. Unfortunately, we have come to the final question for Dev Chat 137. Mike, as always, thank you for your Friday live streams. We appreciate it so much. It is always so much fun. And don't forget, everybody, this coming Wednesday, the 12th at 4:30 p.m. PT, Mike will be joining me and Frosty LaRue on the brand new Town Portal podcast. More information to come, and I'll link the announcement video at the end of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please consider joining the Patreon. It is the best way to support. What Mike is going to do now is he's going to go on a pretty long rant. It's not really a rant, but kind of his thought process around hybrid/dual classes. Do you want to use a bow with your Primalist? Listen to this. Take it away, Mike.
I was going to answer. Yes. So hybrid class concepts. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I heard. I don't know when this idea was first. Like the first time I heard this idea pop up in the community, at least, of this like hybrid class concept, where it's like there's a few different versions of that I've heard as well. So, which version are we talking about here? So the one version I've heard was someone was like, can we just like build our own base class with like different masteries, or just like take masteries from other classes, and like the biggest challenge with all of this is how the passive tree incorporates with the skills directly, and that interaction, how these things are all interconnected. So like which items or which passives you have, passives will frequently directly reference abilities. Like there's passives on the Mage tree that like do elemental conversions. You know, like there are direct skill references where it's like this node doesn't really make any sense if you don't have that skill. And a lot of times as well, it's just like the nodes don't really make sense if you don't have like this set of skills as well. What's a good example here? This one here, maximum companions +1. You know, like if you don't have any companion abilities, this passive makes no sense at all. It does literally nothing. And there's other ones here in Druid, I think, where it's like you have max 1. There's one somewhere where it's like max 1 companion total. It locks it at 1. Doesn't matter where it is. But yeah, so the same thing happens with items. Like there's lots of items that'll be like, okay, well you get bonuses to this ability or something like that. And a lot of these happen in the head, chest, and relic slot. So then you start having like these items that are like the affix pool for the item base needs to line up with the mastery class, because it also lines up with the abilities that mastery class has access to. And you start mix and matching these things, and you frequently get into situations where you're finding items that are like class locked to the class you're playing, but are completely useless and specifically completely useless in like it buffs a certain ability, and it's so messy. However, I still think it's a good idea. It's just messy. And so we're if we ever decide to do something like that in the future, we're gonna really have to take a close look at how we can incorporate all the class locked themes and abilities and items and all these things, because class identity has been such a core design pillar of the game for so long that there's lots of things that we mechanically and thematically very specifically lock to certain classes. But then then you look at certain classes and certain like archetypes in ARPGs in general, not even ARPGs, just RPGs in general, like fantasy games. You're like, why don't you have that? And then you try and place where it's supposed to go, and you're like, it doesn't really fit in one place. So the big example of what I'm talking about here is let's look at a WoW hunter. You need bows, and that's marksman or rogue in general, and then you need like animal companions, and that's beastmaster or primalist in general. And so you end up in the situation where you've got these two, in order to build this like classic WoW style, and other games before it too, like class character archetype, and you need to dip into two different mastery classes to do it. And so like there's the approach of like, okay, can you take pieces of individual, like is there a mix and match thing that happens? Is there a is there a like just a new class that's created and it's narrow in scope, and it pulls from other classes to make that, like it pulls from other masteries to make a new class that is narrow in scope. That's a possibility too. It does start to kind of blur that that character design like architect pillar quite a lot when you start doing things like this. So I've probably gone so far off the rails with this question. That's kind of what you were asking. So Sentinel and Primalist. Berserker class was the specific example. Yeah, I think that's the sort of design. So we have specific masteries that are already planned for the existing base classes.
Hello.
That I think will go really well with them. That will they'll be really positive new masteries for the existing base classes. They'll fit nicely, bring in some new play styles, explore some extra like gameplay elements that we've kind of intentionally sidelined in favor of having room down the road for these things to come in as like complete ideas instead of partial ideas. But then I think there's a point that we'll get to where maybe we're sitting at multiple like 4 masteries per of the 5 classes, and we have 20 masteries, and it's like adding in a whole new base class might be a little daunting, and then starting to have this like mix and match feeling might be a good point, good play at that point, I think.